This video is sponsored by Wix Filters, manufacturers of filters for automobiles, trucks, off-road equipment, and manufacturing applications. Go to wixfilters.com for more information.
Hello and welcome back to Rollin' with the Numbers, where we present you with data that gives tire dealers information to keep their tire businesses rolling based on research conducted with our independent tire dealer audience and beyond. My name is David. I am the senior editor of Tire Review.
And I'm Christian Hinton, associate editor at Tire Review.
Christian, I've got a real treat for you today. All right, so I stayed up all night creating the props we need to play a game.
Okay.
The game originates from Price is Right. I'm sure you're familiar with it. In this game, there are two prizes, and you have to, put the right price for the prize, and if you get it, then you win the prize.
Okay.
You don't win any prizes today, but I did prepare for you the crown of tire tenacity.
Oh.
That's right, baby. It's all yours if you can get my questions correct.
Oh. Well, let's get started.
All right, let's do it. Okay, Christian, here's the first one. It's represented by our tire here. According to our friends from Smithers, the global tire market is expected to rebound from the disruptions associated with COVID-19 at an average annual growth rate of blank percent by volume through 2026. Now keep that in mind, because our next one is represented by the car. According to a recent study by S&P Global Mobility, vehicle miles traveled, also known as VMT, has returned to pre-pandemic levels, increasing by more than blank percent in 2021. Now here are your options, 3.6 and 10. What do you think?
I'm going to say, for the first one, 3.6%. I think a lot of people are starting to get back after COVID, and although levels won't be the same right away, 3.6% seems like a decent growth rate. And then for the other one, I would say average vehicle miles traveled. I would say that's 10%. It's increased 10% just because you're seeing more people on the road, right? So I think that number would be a little higher than the actual other one. So those are my answers.
Great guesses. Let's see if you're right. You are right.
Wow, nice.
You got it right. You got it right. Excellent.
Let's go.
Excellent work. I have some notes I'd like to read here.
Sure.
That gives a little more context to your answers.
Absolutely.
So, despite supply chain disruptions and rising shipping and materials costs, the tire market is steadily experiencing a sustained recovery period here. The fleet channel for light vehicle and truck and bus tires in particular is expected to really move, outpacing the overall tire market in its recovery from the COVID-19 downturn, growing 8.7% per year through 2026. Wow. Now, in relation to VMT, the analysis shows that light vehicles in the U.S. traveled an average of over 12,300 miles in 2021 and are expected to achieve a similar result in 2022. Now, obviously, we want as much VMT as possible here, but staying put is better than declining, right? Sure. So, we're getting out of that pandemic kind of rut. But, if you want more information on VMT, you're going to have to watch our last episode.
All right, no problem.
All right. You ready for game two?
I'm ready.
All right. Our first one, represented by the Amazon Basics battery. Not a sponsor, by the way. According to the J.D. Power's 2022 U.S. Electric Vehicle Consideration Study, released in May, the percentage of shoppers who say they are very likely to consider an EV for their next purchase or lease is blank percent. Okay, keep that in mind.
Okay.
Our next one, represented by the old man. According to new research from S&P Global Mobility, the average age of light vehicles in operation in the U.S. rose to blank years this year, increasing by nearly 2 months over the prior year. Here are your options, 24 or 12.2. How many people are very likely to consider an EV? And what is the average age of light vehicles this year?
I think it starts with 12.2. I think there's a lot of interest for EVs.
Okay.
So I would be surprised if it wasn't a little higher, but I do think 12.2 is a fair percentage for the amount of people interested in EVs next, because there still are a lot of people interested and internal combustion vehicles as well.
Of course.
And then I'm going to go with 24 for the average age of light vehicles for the next one. I mean, I've got a car that's almost 10 years old now. I know a lot of people are driving around light vehicles that are much older than that. So I would say 24.
Okay, let's see it. You are incorrect. I'm sorry, you got it wrong. That's okay. There aren't real rules to this game. You're still in it for the crown. Don't even worry about it.
Good.
24% said they were very likely to consider an EV for their next purchase or lease. And average age of light vehicles in operation in the U.S. rose to 12.2 years this year.
Makes sense.
That's still a very high number for light vehicle age. Myself, I'm driving a 2008 Pontiac G6. Needs a little bit of work. So I'm really feeling that age right now. So let me just give this context to the EV. The percentage of shoppers who say they are very likely to consider an EV for their next purchase or lease climbs to 24%, 4 percentage points higher than a year ago, this study says. So several factors are at work promoting this increase. The introduction of new electric models, some of which are an important and largely untapped segment, like pickup trucks. That's a big reason for it. So what does this mean for tire dealers, right? Obviously, EVs, all the rage. You hear about them a lot now because interest is high. It just means it's something you got to keep your eye on. It's something you need to be worried about possibly having to work on these vehicles, having these vehicles come in, having the correct tires stocked for these vehicles, right?
Right.
In regard to the average vehicle age, here's my note on this. This is the 5th straight year the average vehicle age in the U.S. has risen. The global microchip shortage combined with associated supply chain and inventory shortages are the primary factors pushing U.S. average vehicle age higher, according to the analysis.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I knew that it would be a higher number, the amount of people interested in EVs. So
that was a tough
I got that one wrong. It was tough.
That was
a
tough one. You're still in the game.
Good.
Let's go on to our next game. All right, Christian. Here's your first one, represented by this obnoxiously large gas canister. According to the latest data from Hankook Tire, as driving frequency approaches pre-pandemic norms, a blank percent of participants surveyed say rising gas prices are now impacting daily driving.
Okay.
The next question is represented by my own personal cell phone. In a recent Babcock's Media survey reported in Shop Owner magazine, when checking the availability of pricing of parts, blank percent of respondents working in automotive shops say they pick up the phone as opposed to logging in online. Here are your numbers, 78 and 22. Blank percent of participants surveyed say rising gas prices are impacting daily driving. Blank percent of respondents working in automotive shops say they pick up the phone as opposed to logging in online. 78 and 22.
I'm going to go with 78% of people say that gas prices are affecting how they drive, correct?
Yes, impacting daily driving.
Daily driving, yeah. I mean, it's impacting everybody. You can't ask one person on the road if gas prices are impacting them, and they say no, right? Yeah. So everyone's dealing with it. So I'm going to say 78%. And then what was the other percentage?
22.
I'm going to say 22% of shops pick up the phone. I mean, online is so popular right now, so it's not a lot of people are picking up the phone, but I would say 22% still do that.
Great guesses. Let's see if you're right. You are correct.
Let's go.
That's right. That is right. 78% of participants surveyed say rising gas prices are now impacting daily driving. Also, 22% of respondents working in automotive shops say they still pick up the phone as opposed to logging in online when they are checking the availability of pricing for parts. Some context to the gas prices here. Rising costs are not just impacting gas prices and how often people are driving. Over a quarter of Americans, 26%, say inflation is causing them to perform more basic maintenance tasks at home too. So, gas prices are also proving a powerful incentive for those considering an electric vehicle. We talked about that. About 1 in 4 or 26% say because of current prices, they plan to purchase an electric vehicle in the future. Maybe another reason to keep your eye on EVs. Also interesting that more basic maintenance tasks like changing your oil, things like that are being done at home just due to the rise of inflation.
Sure.
People are less likely to just get in their car and go out do anything. So that's something to just kind of keep your eye on. Also, in our 2019 survey in regard to the pricing for parts, the percentage who said they used the phone was 36%. That was in 2019. So shops have been hanging up the phone, have been booting up the computer as phone use has dropped to 22%. This isn't anything new. It does tell us that having fast internet obviously is going to go a long way for your shop. Well done, Christian.
Thank you so much, David. Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Well, I'm glad you thought it was fun because now the prize.
Oh,
The prize. Well done, Christian. The tire crown has been passed down to you. Don it with pride, sir. Don it with pride.
oh wow.
Man, that crown looks really good on you.
Thank you.
So for more business intelligence data to help boost tire dealer profitability, be sure to watch out for our next episode of Rolling with the Numbers. If you subscribe to our newsletter, it's in there. Look out for it. Until next time,
Keep on rolling.